Have you ever caught someone staring directly into your eyes, and for a moment, it felt like they were peering into something far deeper than your appearance? That strange sensation when you realize they aren't just looking at you, but almost reading a message you didn't even know you were sending can feel ancient and unexplainably profound. What if that moment is so unsettling because your eyes aren't just passive windows into your soul? What if they're active transmitters, broadcasting your soul's deepest purpose to anyone who knows how to read the signal? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, spent decades investigating what he described as the collective unconscious, the deep, universal psychological patterns that link all of humanity. And among his discoveries lies one so controversial, so deeply buried by mainstream psychology, that most people will never even hear about it. A theory that ties your eye color directly to archetypal forces that have shaped human behavior for millennia. Here's what they don't want you to realize. Your eye color is far from a random feature. It's not simply a genetic roll of the dice. According to some of Jung's most disputed but intriguing research, your eye color is a tangible expression of your soul's core archetypal imprint, a visible reflection of the unconscious force that has been guiding your major life decisions without you ever consciously knowing. Let that sink in for a moment. Haven't you noticed that people with similar eye colors often seem drawn to the same kinds of life paths, that they carry certain shared qualities that go far beyond coincidence, that sometimes just a single glance into someone's eyes gives you an inexplicable sense of who they are at their core? The ancient wisdom keepers certainly noticed. They could perceive a person's entire spiritual role just by looking into their eyes. To them, your eye color revealed a sacred blueprint, your soul's chosen mission in this lifetime. It carried clues to why you incarnated, and the unique part you're meant to play in the unfolding evolution of humanity. But here's where things get a little darker. Most people are living completely out of alignment with that mission. They're unknowingly at war with their own archetypal design, struggling through life, unable to understand why they feel so off course, so unfulfilled, so disconnected from their tribe. If you've ever had the sense that you were made for something more, but just couldn't name it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to uncover might flip your entire self-understanding upside down. That quiet, persistent sense you've carried for years, the feeling that you're here for something meaningful, something specific, is not just imagination or spiritual fantasy. It's your soul trying to reach you, speaking the only language it knows, the language of archetypal symbols and unconscious truth. Brown eyes, the keepers of the earth. Carl Jung revealed that each human being carries deep-seated imprints, what he called archetypal patterns rooted in the collective unconscious. These are not just philosophical ideas. They are active forces shaping how we think, love, work, relate, and even how we awaken to the divine. And in the research that rarely sees daylight, Jung traced a direct connection between these archetypes and certain physical features, most notably eye color. Here's what the gatekeepers of conventional psychology don't want you to see. Your eye color isn't merely a physical trait. It's a cosmic signature, a divine fingerprint, the universe's way of coding your soul's archetypal purpose into your biology. The melanin patterns and light reflections within your iris don't just shape how your eyes appear. They reveal something ancient, your core spiritual assignment, the invisible force that's been silently directing the arc of your entire life. The melanin patterns within your iris do far more than just determine how light reflects off your eyes. They serve as the visible imprint of something far deeper, a physical manifestation of your soul's most profound programming. Think about all the people who have looked into your eyes and seem to instantly recognize something intimate, something deeply true about you without saying a word. Why? Think about how certain eye colors seem to spark an almost magnetic pull towards some individuals, while stirring caution or hesitation around others. That's not coincidence. It's archetypal resonance, something ancient being remembered on a soul level. The Egyptians understood this deeply. They believed the eyes weren't just the windows to the soul, they were its dwelling place. And different eye colors, they believed, reflected different spiritual callings. The Celtic Druids took it further. They studied iris patterns to map a person's destiny. And across continents, indigenous shamans knew that eye color revealed the sacred work a spirit came into this lifetime to fulfill. But here's the troubling part. Modern culture has buried this knowledge. We've been trained to dismiss our eye color as trivial, nothing more than an outcome of genetic randomness. The ancient wisdom that once guided our ancestors has been stripped away, replaced by a shallow understanding of appearance. And the consequence, millions of people walking through life disconnected from their soul's purpose. They force themselves into careers, relationships, and roles that directly contradict their archetypal design. They feel exhausted, unmotivated, or hopeless, and they don't know why. But in truth, they're fighting their own soul's current every single day. If you've ever felt like you're pushing against some invisible force, like no matter how hard you try, you're still not where you're meant to be, drop-o-like on this video. Because you're about to discover the reason behind it all. The truth is, your eye color has been sending you a message from the very beginning of your life. But you've been taught to ignore it. You've been conditioned to see your eyes as just a feature of your face, rather than what they truly are, a cosmic GPS coded with your soul's instructions. So let's begin with the most commonly misunderstood archetypal eye color, brown. If you have brown eyes, chances are you've heard your whole life that they're plain or unremarkable. But that's one of the most damaging cultural lies we've inherited, because brown eyes actually hold the most profound soul mission of all. In Jung's archetypal system, brown-eyed individuals are known as the keepers of the earth. Their purpose is to be the stabilizing presence for humanity's collective consciousness. They are the ones who create safe ground, those who hold space so others can grow, transform, and awaken. What makes this role so powerful is the deep concentration of melanin in their eyes. This creates a direct link to what Jung called the primordial unconscious, the deepest, a most ancient layer of the collective psyche. People with brown eyes are able to access timeless wisdom that has accumulated across generations. That's why they so often feel like old souls. They carry within them the quiet weight of ancestral memory. They're naturally drawn to nurturing, protecting, healing, and teaching others. They often have an uncanny gift making others feel completely seen, safe, and understood, even total strangers. But here lies the shadow side of their mission, one that many brown-eyed souls never even notice. Their deep-rooted call to care for others can lead them to sacrifice themselves. They pour out their energy in service of others and lose track of their own elevation. They give so freely that eventually they find themselves drained, questioning why they feel so depleted, even when surrounded by love. Their mission, then, is to learn the fine line between sacred grounding and self-abandoning caretaking. They're here to teach what it means to root into ancient truth while still growing toward transcendence. Brown-eyed souls are the bridge between the physical world and the unseen realm. In ancient spiritual traditions, brown eyes were revered as a sign of sacred wisdom. Many believed that such individuals were incarnated earth angels, volunteering their souls to help humanity evolve. In Egypt, priests believed brown-eyed people could channel the voice and wisdom of the earth itself. And if you have brown eyes, you've probably noticed something. People seem to instinctively trust you. Strangers open up to you. Friends lean on you for emotional support. Children and animals feel drawn to you instantly. That's not random. That's your archetypal frequency creating a field of deep safety and ancestral presence around you. But here's what you absolutely must understand. Your purpose isn't to heal or carry everyone else. Your mission is to become the living example of what it means to be rooted in ancient truth while still reaching for your highest spiritual potential. You're here to guide others by showing them how to walk both grounded and uplifted. If you've always felt like the go-to person, the counselor for everyone around you, and now it finally makes sense, drop your country in the comments. Let's find out how many earth angels are watching from across the world. The psychological research supports all of this. Studies show that people with brown eyes consistently score higher in empathy, emotional sensitivity, and what scientists now refer to as wisdom orientation. They're more likely to enter helping professions, sustain long-term emotional bonds, and report a deep inner sense of responsibility for others' well-being. So no, your brown eyes are not ordinary. They are sacred. They mark you as a soul who chose one of the most demanding archetypal missions to hold steady space for the entire human journey, while simultaneously tending to your own path of inner growth. Every time you look in the mirror, you're seeing the eyes of someone who willingly volunteered for one of the most essential roles in and for the collective soul. Blue eyes, the seers of truth. Now let's talk about blue eyes, the eye color that might just carry the most misunderstood archetype in Jung's framework. If you have blue eyes, you've probably been told that your gaze is intense, piercing, or even unsettling. Some people say they feel exposed when you look at them. But this isn't about intimidation. It's about your soul's role, what Jung referred to as the seer of truth. Because of the low melanin levels in blue eyes, a fascinating neurological effect takes place. The way your iris reflects light actually enhances certain types of perception. Blue-eyed people exhibit what researchers now call advanced pattern recognition. They can detect deception, hidden motives, and inconsistencies faster than most. That's why so many blue-eyed individuals say they've always been able to sense when someone is hiding something. They often know the truth, even when no one else does. They can intuitively detect when someone is being dishonest, when emotions are being concealed, or when someone is hiding behind a carefully constructed mask. Their soul's mission is to function as truth detectors for the collective consciousness, sensing what lies beneath the surface. But this gift comes with a shadow side, one that blue-eyed individuals often wrestle with. Their ability to perceive through illusions can lead to feelings of isolation and deep mistrust. They often carry knowledge about others they never asked for. They see the space between someone's words and their actual truth, and that gap can make connections feel shallow or disheartening. The archetypal purpose for blue eyes is to learn how to channel this gift of truth-seeing in ways that heal rather than judge. Their role isn't to condemn, it's to guide. They are here to gently help others remove their masks and reconnect with who they truly are beneath all the layers. They are the ones who can hold a space vast enough for the whole truth, both light and shadow, to exist. In ancient Nordic belief systems, Blue eyes were seen as markings of the sky seers, individuals with a gift to perceive truths far beyond the ordinary mind. In Celtic traditions, it was believed that blue-eyed children were born able to see through the veil separating worlds. Many shamanic cultures echoed this idea. Blue eyes were considered natural signs of visionary insight. If you have blue eyes, you've likely experienced the polarizing effect of your presence. People either feel immediately safe with you or instantly uncomfortable, rarely anything in between. That's because your archetypal energy presses up against others' authenticity. It invites them to confront their truth, and not everyone is ready for that. Jung described this as a field of truth, an energetic presence that dissolves illusion just by existing. Modern psychological studies back this up. Blue-eyed individuals consistently score higher in analytical reasoning, complex pattern recognition, and what scientists now call deception detection. They often gravitate toward fields like investigation, psychology, deep research, or any role that requires stripping away surface layers to uncover truth. Your blue eyes aren't just striking, they're spiritual instruments. They are tools of perception and consciousness, designed to read the soul beneath the persona. You are the living embodiment of a lie detector, not to shame others, but to illuminate what's real. Every time you look at someone, you're unconsciously scanning for what's genuine, what's honest, what's hidden just beneath their mask. If you have blue eyes and have always sensed that you can see through people's performances, share a moment in the comments when your intuition proved right. Let's affirm and honor each other's gift of truth-seeing. But here's what you must remember about your mission. You're not here to expose lies or call people out. You're here to create a space so safe, so honest, that people choose to lay down their masks on their own. You're meant to show others that they don't need to perform for you. They can be real. The world needs your gift now more than ever. We're living in a time flooded with false images, manipulation, and performative connection. Your blue eyes are not an accident. They are your soul's way of signaling that you are a guide, someone who can help others find their way back to authenticity. Green eyes, the catalyst. Now let's shift to green eyes, the rarest of all. Only 2% of the global population carries this eye color, and that rarity is no accident. It's archetypal. According to Jung's most overlooked insights, green-eyed individuals carry the soul contract of the catalyst. Their mission is to trigger transformation in everyone they meet. The melanin and light-bending properties that create green eyes also forge a unique psychological profile. Green-eyed souls are situated in what scientists call the liminal space, the threshold between worlds. They exist between polarities bridging material and spiritual, logic and intuition, groundedness and transcendence. They are natural transition guides, helping others move from one chapter of life to the next. That's why so many green-eyed people feel like they never quite belong. They're too mystical for practical circles, too pragmatic for spiritual ones, too sensitive for skeptics, too blunt for empaths. But this isn't a flaw, it's their design. They were never meant to fit into neat boxes. They were meant to inhabit the in-between. Their sacred task is to act as catalysts for change. They have a near magical ability to show up in someone's life just before a turning point. They're the ones asking the questions that challenge old beliefs, the ones introducing ideas that shift entire perspectives. They ignite the spark that leads to breakthrough. But the shadow of this role isn't easy. The transformative power they carry can make relationships turbulent. People are drawn to them quickly and deeply, but once transformation begins, they often retreat to process. To the green-eyed soul, it can feel like being abandoned again and again, just as things get real. Ancient traditions recognized this pattern. In Celtic lore, green eyes were linked to shapeshifters, beings who helped others change their very nature. Egyptian mystery schools believed green-eyed initiates had access to rebirth energy, and indigenous cultures often saw green eyes as a sign of natural shamans. Oh, if you have green eyes, you've probably noticed that your presence speeds things up. People meet you, and everything in their lives starts to shift. Old relationships dissolve. New doors open. Hidden truths bubble up. You're like a lightning rod for the energy of transformation. Modern psychology supports this too. Green-eyed individuals tend to rank higher in creativity, flexibility, and what's now termed catalyst behavior. They're drawn to paths that support growth coaching, counseling, creative arts, and professions that help people rewrite their lives. If you have green eyes and have seen this pattern in the people around you, share your most powerful transformation story in the comments. Let's see how many catalyst souls are among us right now. Your green eyes aren't just uncommon, they're revolutionary. They're the sign of a soul who consciously chose to be a living spark, a force of transformation in humanity's evolution. Every encounter you have could carry the seed of a breakthrough for someone else, and your archetypal energy is specifically designed to activate that kind of profound change. But here's what you absolutely need to understand about your mission. You're not here to impose transformation on anyone or fix their problems for them. Your purpose is to embody the energy of transformation so completely, so authentically, that others are reminded of their own power to grow and evolve. You're here to be a walking example of what it means to constantly evolve, always becoming more aligned with who you were born to be. The world needs this catalyst energy now more than ever. We're witnessing the collapse of outdated systems and the birth of entirely new paradigms. Your green eyes are your soul's unmistakable mark, an indication that you're meant to help others navigate these massive transitions with clarity, grace, and wisdom. Hazel eyes, the divine mirrors. Hazel eyes represent one of the most intricate and multifaceted archetypal patterns in Jung's system. If your eyes are hazel, you've likely been told they shift color depending on your mood, your clothing, or even the lighting. But this isn't just a visual trick. It reflects something much deeper. That fluidity mirrors your soul's mission as what Jung called the shapeshifters of consciousness. The interplay of melanin and light in hazel eyes gives rise to a unique psychological flexibility. People with hazel eyes possess what researchers refer to as archetypal fluidity. They can access, shift between, and embody multiple archetypal energies depending on what the situation calls for. They're natural adapters capable of intuitively becoming exactly what someone else needs in that moment. That's why hazel-eyed people often say they feel like different versions of themselves in different environments. They may feel like counselors in one moment, catalysts in another, and protectors in yet another. But this isn't confusion or contradiction. It's their sacred design. This adaptability is their unique archetypal gift. Their core mission is to serve as mirrors of human potential. They can look at someone and instantly sense the dormant strengths waiting to be awakened. They have the rare ability to reflect those hidden qualities back, helping others recognize capabilities they didn't even know they possessed. However, this flexibility also comes with a challenge. The shadow side that hazel-eyed souls often struggle with is a fragmented sense of identity. They may feel unsure of who they are when they're not reflecting someone else's needs. They risk becoming so fluid, so adaptive, that they lose touch with their own core. They may wonder, Who am I when I'm not being what everyone else expects? Ancient Greek traditions viewed hazel eyes as marks of divine mirrors, beings able to reflect divine attributes back to the human world. Celtic Druids believed that hazel-eyed souls were tapped into the wisdom of the world tree, which connected all planes of existence. In numerous mystical lineages, hazel eyes were signs of natural mediums, those who could bridge realities and translate hidden truths. If you have hazel eyes, you've likely heard people say you help them see themselves differently. They may have told you things like, "I never saw myself that way until you said it," or "You helped me realize something I didn't know was in me." That's not just kindness, it's your archetypal energy in action. Jung called this phenomenon the field of potential recognition, and modern psychological research aligns with this. Hazel-eyed individuals tend to score higher on emotional intelligence, social adaptability, and what's now called potential recognition. They're often drawn to careers that involve developing others, mentoring, coaching, therapy, or any profession centered around guiding people toward their own strengths. If you have hazel eyes and someone has ever told you that you help them see their own potential, share that story in the comments. Let's honor this community of divine mirrors. Your hazel eyes aren't just visually changeable, they're energetically transformative. They signify a soul who chose to reflect humanity's highest possibilities back to itself. Every person you encounter has a chance to glimpse their own potential more clearly through your presence. Your archetypal energy was designed to make that moment of recognition possible. But here's what's essential for you to remember about your role. Your mission is not to dissolve yourself into others or become whoever they need you to be. Your purpose is to stay rooted in your own center, while remaining fluid enough to hold space for others' growth. You're meant to embody what it looks like to be truly adaptable, responsive, yet deeply authentic. You are here to model the art of being grounded in your essence while still flexible in your approach. And right now, the world needs this mirror energy more than it ever has. We're living in a time when people have lost touch with their own gifts. Many have forgotten the brilliance they carry within. Your hazel eyes are your soul's signature, marking you as someone who can help them remember. Now that you have a deeper understanding of your archetypal eye pattern, let's address the biggest misconception. Most people treat this insight like a personality quiz, an interesting observation, nothing more. But this knowledge isn't just trivia. It's a map, a blueprint for your deepest calling. Your eye color doesn't just describe who you are. It reveals who you're here to become. It illuminates the archetype your soul came here to embody, refine, and master. Every trial you've faced, every relationship you've entered, every professional choice you've made, they weren't random. They were your soul's way of nudging you toward alignment with your archetypal purpose. Think back to the moments in your life when you felt the most alive, the most aligned, the most deeply connected to something greater. Notice how those moments mirrored the essence of your archetypal pattern. The brown-eyed person who felt the deepest sense of fulfillment while comforting a friend through a moment of crisis. The blue-eyed individual who felt truly alive when they helped someone confront a truth they'd been avoiding for years. The green-eyed soul who lit up with purpose when they guided someone through a major breakthrough. The hazel-eyed guide who felt most connected when they reflected someone's hidden potential back to them. These weren't accidents. These were moments when your soul recognized its own purpose being fulfilled. And this is where the real shift begins. Because the truth is, many people have been living in resistance to their archetypal calling. They've spent their lives trying to conform to society's mold instead of honoring their soul's natural design. They've wondered why life feels heavy, disconnected, or disorienting when the real reason is that they've been pushing against their deepest truth. The brown-eyed soul, told they're too sensitive, tries to toughen up and detach. The blue-eyed soul, told they're too intense, tries to tone it down and appear more surface level. The green-eyed soul, told they're overwhelming, tries to shrink into predictability. And the hazel-eyed soul, told they're inconsistent, tries to force themselves into rigidity. That's the root of your disconnection. That's why relationships have felt difficult to sustain. That's why your work hasn't always felt aligned. You've been trying to play a role that was never meant for you. You've been busy becoming someone you thought you should be, instead of stepping fully into who you already are. If this realization is finally clicking into place, if you're starting to understand why you've always felt like you were swimming upstream, pause for a moment and hit that like button. Because now, you're about to discover what it feels like to flow with your archetypal current instead of against it. Here's your integration practice for the coming week. And will pay close attention to the moments when you feel most energized, most alive, most connected. Notice what you're doing in those moments, who you're with, and what kind of impact you're having. These are the moments when your soul's mission is being activated. Then observe the moments when you feel drained, disconnected, or frustrated. Notice what's happening then, who surrounds you, and what energy you're trying to force. Those are signs that you're operating against your true archetypal design. The goal isn't to overhaul your entire life overnight. The goal is to start making intentional, small adjustments that bring you into harmony with your soul's deeper work. Maybe that looks like leaning into more honest conversations if you're blue-eyed. Maybe it means allowing yourself to be the steady foundation for others if you're brown-eyed. Maybe it's embracing your fire and stepping into the role of catalyst if you're green-eyed. Or maybe it's trusting your gift of adaptability and learning to remain centered even as you mirror others if you're hazel-eyed. Your archetypal mission isn't a limit, it's a mastery. It's your soul's unique specialization, pointing you toward where you offer the most, where you can shape the most impact, and where your own fulfillment is waiting. The ancient wisdom keepers understood this deeply. They knew that each person's unique archetype wasn't just personal, it was essential to the well-being of the whole. When each soul lived in alignment with its purpose, the entire community thrived. So share this video with someone whose eyes have always mesmerized you. Help them discover their archetypal truth. And tell me in the comments what's the very first shift you're going to make to honor your soul's calling. This isn't just about learning something new about yourself. It's about claiming your rightful place in humanity's collective transformation. Your eye color has been whispering a message about your deeper purpose since the moment you were born. And now that you finally understand what it's been saying, you can stop resisting your nature and start flowing with it. Because the world needs you to step into your archetypal role. There are lives waiting for the gift only you can give. There are transformations that can only happen through your specific energy. Your eyes have been broadcasting your soul's mission your entire life. Now it's time to answer the